Hi, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Anaya, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make DIY Christmas gifts that people are actually going to want for Christmas this year. I've made these gifts for friends, family members, and coworkers, so I'm sure you're bound to find something that you actually want to gift to your loved ones on Christmas. Please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that I can continue to produce more videos like this. Without further ado, let's jump into the first project.
Alright guys, so for the first project, we will be making friendship bracelets. As many of you know, these have become really popular and trendy this year due to the Eras Tour, all my Swifties out there. So these make a really good gift on their own or as an add-on to something else. I actually purchased these beads off of Shein, however you pronounce it. So they were really inexpensive, so you can also make these on a budget. I just showed you for the first one a patterned bracelet, so a repeating pattern on that. After I finish making the bracelet, I make sure that I pull the string very tightly for the knot so that it doesn't come apart, and I cut the string as close to the knot as possible without cutting it. For the second bracelet, I decided to do a non-patterned one, which my OCD was killing me on this, but I thought it would be cute. So I just picked a bunch of different blue bead shades and then strung them along the string in no particular order. And a game changer for me on this has been those bag clips. I just clip it to one end of the string and I'm able to bead without them falling out the other end. It's been amazing. After I finished with the bracelet, I just added some nail glue onto the knot so that it can be a little bit more secure. And at the end of this, I honestly ended up loving the one that was just ordered so much more. So I ended up redoing the first one. And here are the final bracelets. I absolutely love these. There's so many different patterns and variations that you can do. I hope you guys are able to gift this to someone you love this Christmas. So project 2 is actually scrunchies. For this project, you will need fabric, some tools, sequins, pom-poms, hair elastics, and a glue gun. This is one of the scrunchies that I made beforehand. It came out super adorable, so I can't wait to show you how to make them. You all need to measure out 4 inches in the width and then roughly 18 inches in the length. This fabric was actually already 18 inches, so I didn't really have to do much in that regard. Once you're done measuring out the length, you will just go ahead and cut it. And I used the roller cutter that I actually got from Dollar Tree. It was pretty good for being $1.25. I also got all of the fabric and tulle from Dollar Tree. The sequins and pom-poms were actually from Hobby Lobby. So once you're done cutting that out, you can go ahead and fold the fabric with the right sides in, and then you will take the glue gun and then just do a glue stripe across like that, and then press the 2 right sides together. I also like to flatten out the glue so that it doesn't seem as though it is glue gunned together. And then you'll cut off the excess fabric because it'll just make the scrunchie really bulky and you don't need it. So once you're done cutting off the excess fabric, you'll take a round object like a cup or a mason jar and then put the fabric cylinder around that and then the scrunchie around the fabric. I like to stretch out the scrunchie a little bit since they're new. It can be kind of difficult to put around the mason jar, and then you'll want to flip the fabric so that the right side is showing now, and then the same thing with the bottom half. Pretty much we're just gonna hem the fabric with glue, as you'll see here. So we're just gonna go around the scrunchie, gluing it and rolling the fabric in like so. So you'll just continue to glue and roll in the fabric as you're kind of turning the cup. So once you've completed the full circle, you can take the scrunchie off, and I like to kind of pull it apart to make it puffy because sometimes the glue can stick together and then it just kind of helps with that. I put it around my arm as well just to make sure that it gives the scrunchie effect, and that's pretty much it. So moving on to the tulle scrunchie, it's the same process as before, except instead of a glue gun, we're going to use fabric glue to glue it. I also made sure that I made a couple layers of the tulle so that it's not so opaque. Once you're done doing the fabric cylinder with the tulle, you can go ahead and put the scrunchie around it, same as before. The difference will come when filling the tulle scrunchie. So you'll make sure that all the tulle fabric is up instead of being up and down as before, because you want the pom-poms and the sequins to actually be able to sit inside of the scrunchie while you're gluing it. So for the first part, I decided to put all of the pom-poms and sequins in the scrunchie like so, and that it would be super cute and easy to just go ahead and glue around while that was in there. Well, I was wrong, because as I was gluing, this happened. Yeah, not my brightest move. So anyway, I had to redo it, and as I was redoing the scrunchie, I decided to just glue and kind of fill it as I go, as you'll see. So what's in there has already been glued, and then I would just kind of stuff more pom-poms and sequins in it as I saw fit. The good thing about this glue is that it dries fairly quickly, so you can begin handling it really shortly after you're done. Once you finish, you can just do the same as before and fluff it out. And that's pretty much it. There you go, scrunchies. Project 3 is probably one of my favorite projects I made this video. They are DIY bookmarks. So for this, you'll need acrylic bookmarks, pressed flowers, and Mod Podge. The acrylic bookmarks have some film over it, so you'll have to remove that. I actually got these and the pressed flowers off of Demu, but I highly do not recommend that anymore, as there have been a lot of scams with that. And as my dad likes to say, if it's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. I was just being cheap. You can totally get these off of Amazon. Once you're done peeling that off, you can go ahead and lay the flowers in the pattern you'd like. I highly recommend trimming off any of the thick stems from the leaves and flowers, because you'll need more Mod Podge for that, and then it kind of seeps from the sides and it doesn't look as good when the Mod Podge seeps from the sides. So with that, you'll go ahead, and once you have the pattern, you'll actually Mod Podge the flower or leaf itself. I did it where I Mod Podged the whole acrylic bookmark, and then it kind of gave that effect that I was telling you earlier, and I show you here. It just doesn't look good. So after you put Mod Podge on the front, I also seal the back of the flower with Mod Podge as well, so it doesn't lift. Then I proceeded to cut my name out on my Cricut and peel that off so that I can go ahead and personalize this bookmark. It turned out absolutely adorable, and this is awesome because you can customize it for anyone. It can say a specific word or somebody's name or nothing. It's really up to you. And if you also don't have a Cricut, you can definitely paint this on with acrylic paint and then maybe just seal that with Mod Podge also. So after you're done with that, it's time for the tassel. This pack came with 5 different color options, and I ended up going with the green one because I just thought it would match better. And once you string the tassel through, you're pretty much done with your bookmark. But I love these acrylic bookmarks because you can pretty much do anything with them. You can paint them or use other things to decoupage it, and it's completely custom to you. So project 4 is a completely sustainable DIY jean jacket. All of these products were found at Goodwill. So what you'll need is a jean jacket, some sheer fabric, and fabric glue, and a roller cutter. This is, again, the Dollar Tree roller cutter, and it cut through denim. So that's why I say for $1.25, really not bad. The first thing you're going to do is go ahead and cut out the panels, the back panels of the jean jacket. So I am thoroughly making sure I do not cut my table, and I have a cutting board underneath because I don't have a cutting mat, and I'm just going through and pressing down and cutting the panels of the jean jacket. Don't throw those away because you will need those later. And so as you go through, try to cut as close to that seam line as possible without cutting the seam line itself. You can also go back with a pair of scissors and clean up any excess fabric that's left over that's going to make the jacket not look as seamless as possible. This is what it looks like when all the panels are removed, and so I wanted to get an idea of what the jacket would look like when the new fabric is there, so I put it underneath so I can kind of get the best idea and pick which fabric I wanted. I did the same with the purple, and I ended up not liking it as much as the black, so I decided to go with the black fabric. And this fabric is actually a t-shirt that I found. So what I'm doing right now is cutting off the seams of that. I don't have a seam ripper, so I just use the roller cutter and cut as close to the seam as possible to leave me as much fabric to work with as possible. So you'll go through and carefully cut that, and then once you're done with that, you'll need the panels that you cut out in the beginning. So that's why you need to save them. So you'll just line that up. I tried to trace the panel, but it was not working. So what I did is I just decided to leave the panel on there and cut around it and give myself some extra room to work with when it's time to glue those panels back onto the jacket. Once you have all of your new fabric panels cut out, you can go ahead and lay them down on the project and have the jacket facing you like so. If you know how to sew extremely well, you can go ahead and sew in an invisible hemline, and that would work perfectly fine for this. For this project, I'm just going to go ahead and use glue. The brand of fabric glue I'm using is called Fabri-Tac. I've used this in the past and it holds up really well. I'm just going to let the person that I'm gifting this to know to wash this on a delicate cycle. On cold, and then probably hang to dry so like that it lasts as long as possible. So you're just going to go ahead and glue down on the entire, like all four sides of the rectangle for this, and then proceed to do the same with the other panels. So it also does reinforce the glue that you're laying down. I just made sure to put a hefty amount of glue on this also. So once you're done with the gluing part of it, there will be excess fabric as you see. So you'll just go ahead and trim that up as well. And then that's pretty much it. You are all done with your brand new jacket. Project 5 is our Trinket dish. So for this, you will need some Crayola air dry clay, some paint, and some gloss Mod Podge. I use the Crayola air dry clay because I feel like it gives more of a traditional ceramic pottery feel over Model Magic, but I have seen people use Model Magic for trinket dishes as well. It's completely up to you and what your preference is. So you'll just take a piece of the clay and knead it, and then end up rolling it out into kind of an oblong disc, if that makes any sense. I use a muddler in this, and that was like a bad choice because I had to redo this literally 3 times. The first one, as you'll see, since the muddler is not even, it gives me this really hideous, really difficult piece of clay to work with. So I end up scrapping this trash and then doing it again. I did not buy an acrylic roller, and I should have. I ended up having to use a hairspray bottle to roll this out. If you have an acrylic roller, it'll definitely be a lot easier for you. Once I rolled this out, I did take some water and kind of smooth out the edges, because ultimately what I want this to look like is kind of like a shell, and you'll kind of get the image of it later, but I just kind of wanted it to be this non-symmetrical shell-like trinket dish. So I used the paintbrush to also go ahead and smooth out any creases as well, and then let this dry for about a day. Once it was dry, I did grab some paint to go ahead and give that iridescent shell-like look that I was going for. So I did buy paint from Target. It's called Mythical Unicorn and Brassy Buckle. So I did a full layer of the Mythical Unicorn and then one like thin layer of the Brassy Buckle to kind of deepen it, as you can see there. And then after I was done with that, the edges I did lined with gold paint. So I wanted that metallic finish, so it kind of looks like the shell was dipped in gold, so to speak. Once it was dry, I did go ahead and take the gloss Mod Podge and then seal all of the acrylic paint with the gloss Mod Podge. I did 2 coats of the gloss, so it could also kind of hide some of the brush strokes as well. And then you just kind of go around and do that all on the inside as well as the outside of the dish. I wanted the entire thing to be shiny and sealed also. Once the Mod Podge is dry, your trinket dish is finished. Last but not least, project 6 is going to be our plaster art project. So for this, you'll need a frame, some paint, and some plaster. You can also use a regular canvas. I found this wooden framed canvas at Five Below for like $3 and some change, and it actually worked out perfectly because I like the way the plaster art looks with the wooden frame around it. So right here, I'm just taking like a disposable container and the plaster and scooping that into the container. You can use a good amount of plaster. I think I used a little bit more than what I needed, but I would have rather been safe than sorry than have to remix plaster and not have it all look the same color. So after you're done getting the amount of plaster you want, you can go ahead and mix in some paint with this. I did use some wall paint because I like the color of this better than the acrylic paint, but I have done it with acrylic paint as well, so either works just as fine. And then you'll go ahead and mix that all in together, and it kind of helps create a nice consistency with the plaster as well. I've seen people also mix in other mediums to kind of get like a more peanut butter like consistency. The consistency and texture of this one kind of came out to like a thick frosting, if that makes any sense. So once you're done with that, you can go ahead and start spreading that all on the frame and then just creating the design that you want. Upon looking at this, you can definitely keep a lot of the plaster in the center and create different designs and shapes with it as well, and it would add a nice textural element to the canvas. So all I'm doing here is just trying to be really careful while I'm spreading it and trying to evenly distribute the plaster to not get the inner frame. But it was extremely difficult, and that's the one downside with having a pre-framed canvas. So in the end, I gave up and decided to line the inside with the plaster as well, and it actually gave a really nice effect in the end. So I just made sure that after I did this, I wiped up any of the excess on the front of the frame. I tried to do a design, hated it, ended up straightening it out again and just kind of creating like a more flat design, and then that's what it looked like once it was done. I did have leftover plaster, so this is me just showing you on a Dollar Tree for canvas what that looks like as well with the leftover plaster. After you're done plastering it and it's dry, it takes about a day, we can go ahead and paint them. So I decided to paint the Dollar Tree canvas with some creams and white, and just kind of do some abstract like geometric shapes, and then I added some black to add some more definition, and this is what the final product of that one looks like. So for the Five Below frame, I really like the contrast of the dark and light, so I painted half of the frame black. Again, wasn't perfect. I actually like the texture of the plaster when you have the brush strokes, but I still felt like it was missing something, so I decided to add some irregular gold metallic circles on there, and I'm really glad I did because it added like a nice pop of color, and the metallic shines really well on both the white and the black. So after this, I decided that I was going to stain the frame, which was a mistake. As you can see, it looked horrible. It was really patchy. So this is me grabbing another wood stain thinking that I could fix it, but I could not. And then I decided, well, maybe I can add a little bit of water and try to do like a black wash over it, and that also did not end up working out very well. So ultimately what I decided to do was I just decided to paint the entire frame black, and in the end I'm so glad that I did, because the black frame against the painting in the inside made the painting stand out so much more, and it looked really nice. Be careful with the black paint not to get it on the white side of the frame, but once everything is dry, your painting is done. This is the final product, and I ended up gifting this to a coworker. She absolutely loved this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to get some ideas for some Christmas gifts for your loved ones. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!